Hey everyone, I'm Nick de la Torre and welcome to Awaken the Word. Today we're reading from the Gospel of Luke. Now the time came for Elizabeth to give birth, and she bore a son. Her neighbors and relatives heard that the Lord had shown his great mercy to her, and they rejoiced with her. On the 8th day they came to circumcise the child, and they were going to name him Zachariah after his father. But his mother said, "No, he is to be called John." They said to her, "None of your relatives has this name." Then they began motioning to his father to find out what name he wanted to give him. He asked for a writing tablet and wrote, "His name is John." And all of them were amazed. Immediately his mouth was opened and his tongue freed, and he began to speak, praising God. Fear came over all their neighbors, and all these things were talked about throughout the entire hill country of Judea. All who heard them pondered them and said, "What then will this child become?" For indeed, the hand of the Lord was with him. The child grew and became strong in spirit, and he was in the wilderness until the day he appeared publicly to Israel. In today's passage, we have what I like to call the saga of Zachariah. A little backstory to give a little bit more context to this passage today. Zachariah had been approached by the archangel Gabriel and was told that his wife Elizabeth was going to have a baby. And the angel Gabriel also told Zachariah that they would call this baby John. Now, Zachariah and Elizabeth were no spring chickens, and it was understandable for him to be not only confused but kind of disbelieving of the angel Gabriel when Gabriel conveyed this news to him. But when he refused to believe him, the angel Gabriel was like, "Yeah, you're done talking until your son is born and you name him John." In today's passage, we have the fulfillment of that. John is born, they're going to circumcise him, and as they're going to circumcise him, they're like, "What are we going to name him?" To me, the biggest practical takeaway in this passage is that the surrounding community, the people that they lived in fellowship with day to day, they did not understand why they wouldn't call this baby Zechariah after his father. And a lot of times, God calls us to do things that the people around us don't understand or are even resistant to. And ultimately, it was only in obeying God and naming his son John that Zechariah was able to get his voice back. In our day-to-day lives, there are so many little moments of inspiration, and I've really tried to become very attuned to it. Something as simple as tell this stranger hello, give this stranger a smile, ask the waitress what you can pray for in her life when you go to bless your meal. Little things like that ultimately can have huge impacts on other people's lives, even if they're just small gestures on your part. The more we can become attuned to the voice of God, inspiring our hearts and minds, and follow those promptings bravely, even when we're afraid of ridicule or whatever it may be from the people around us, the more blessed our own lives and the lives of those around us will be. I have been Nick. This has been Awaken the Word. And before you go, I just need you to know that Jesus loves you. Peace.